Okay guys, listen to that sound. That crunch, so amazing. I have the most foolproof crispy batter recipe. These are my ultimate beer battered prawns. All right guys, I'm gonna come right out here and say it. Every home cook should be able to make some sort of like really crispy batter. You should be able to crispy up a piece of fish, a piece of chicken, a prawn, cauliflower, whatever's your thing. You should have a really crispy batter recipe up your sleeve. This is my ultimate crispy batter recipe. Let's get straight into it. There's a little bit of technique here, and one is everything should be super cold. Like I've left my beer in the fridge. This is a beer batter. So I've left my beer in the fridge even. This flour that I'm looking at right here, this came out of the fridge like 2 seconds ago. My prawns came out of the fridge. Cold. We need everything super cold. So let's get started on the batter part first of all. So my cold flour, I've got plain flour here going into my bowl. And I'm going to cut that with some corn flour. So this is a little secret here because the plain flour has gluten content, which kind of makes things a bit firmer. Corn flour has no gluten content, so that's going to make things super light. So I want that, on a little pinch of salt here. And I want some baking powder. This is our other little secret ingredient. It makes things explode. Not like huge explosions, but it will make everything kind of bubbly and release air as the batter hits the hot oil, and that's what makes things really light and crispy. All right, so dry ingredients first. I'm gonna give those a mix. And before I get my cold beer out of the fridge, I'm going to salt my prawns. Doesn't matter if it's chicken or fish, this is the point that you want to be doing some seasoning. So I'm going to add some salt here. And now, and only now, am I going to go get my cold beer. All right, cold beer, very cold. Now, if you don't want to use beer here, you could use soda water. The point is we want something cold and like sparkling, because that's going to help with all the bubbles in the air and all the light and crispy that we want in our batter. Now, liquid ratio here can be a little tricky. Different flours, different humidities, different weather requires a little bit more or less liquid, just a little bit. So what I like to do is, I pour like half, 3/4 of, the amount that I've got in the recipe into my flour first. And I give it a whisk. And you can see this is really thick and gloopy and pasty, so we definitely need the rest of this beer. Okay, so that's looking perfect. Let me just show you the texture of this because it's a lot thinner than you might think. Sort of like the texture of pouring cream or heavy cream. So yeah, not very thick at all. And also, you'll notice that there's lumps. I don't mind about the lumps. The lumps seem to create more kind of, explosive bits that happen in the hot oil. So don't worry about the lumps. That is looking really good. Now we're gonna get straight into our hot oil. Let's check the oil is hot first though. Just grab yourself a wooden spoon. And when you can see those bubbles, you know your oil's good to go. Okay, let's get in here guys, the exciting part as always. With a prawn, I just want to dust it in some flour. So this is corn flour again, and all this is doing is making our piece of prawn or chicken or fish, whatever we're using, a little dry so that the batter will stick to it a little better. Now into the batter. And then straight into your oil. Now do this in batches because if you put too many cold things into that hot oil at once, the oil temperature will drop and that is going to make you a soggy prawn rather than a super crispy one. Now just put these guys over a couple of times, and when they're really nice and golden, pull them out. Drain them on some paper towel. And now, as with anything straight out of the hot oil, you want to hit them with a little bit of salt. Now before we test out just how crispy these guys are, I'm gonna make myself a little spicy mayo because, you know, I love to dip crispy things in spicy mayo. I've got some mayonnaise here. I'm gonna use my coconut sriracha sauce because it is hot and spicy and totally epic. You use whatever your favorite hot sauce or chili sauce is, or just keep it mayo. Totally fine as well. So mix. And I want to pile these prawns up onto my serving plate here. So there you go, guys, my ultimate crispy batter. And I mean, just check out the sound of this crunch. Let's get in here because I, for one, cannot wait. All right, some sauce, of course, and let's see. That batter is so light, it hits you and it's really crispy, and then it literally just disappears like a cloud. My goodness, wow. Oh, this really is like the keeper batter recipe. So yum.